So we're going to start things off this evening with a little bit of audience participation. Do me a favor, raise your hand if you have ever had a feeling or an emotional response to something. Good, we're not all robots. All right, but really think about this for a second. We are a diverse group of people. We've come from different places of the world. Some of us speak different languages. We certainly all have different thoughts and opinions on things, yet we were all just able to unanimously agree on a shared experience. That shared experience being that we have feelings and emotions. Now I want to ask you this. How often do you find yourself in the company of others having a conversation about your feelings and emotions? Depending on what your job is, it might be often, but most of us would say not very often at all. I find that to be troublesome. We all just sat here and agreed that we're all having it. The problem with that is that if we don't talk about it, it's not like they go away, right? If we close our eyes and pretend like it's not happening, it's still happening. We're just not talking about it. So that in and of itself is a problem. The next thing, we're going to start things off with doing another thing. I want you to look at somebody, one of your partners, find somebody in the audience, or make eye contact, probably someone sitting next to you. For the introverts, I'm sorry. I want you to look at them. We're going to ask a deep and personal question. So are you ready? The question I'd like you to ask the person you're looking at, and by the way, I seriously want you to do this, is, how are you feeling today? Okay. So some of us are going, oh man, that was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Others of us are going, that was exactly as awful as I thought it would be. And there's a variety of responses there in between. So your next thought is probably, well, that wasn't a deep and personal question at all, right? Well, I'm here to offer you the answer that it is. Actually, we don't treat that question with the amount of weight and importance that we should, right? I'd like to tell you a quick story. So my wife and I have a friend. He came to the United States to do his undergrad and eventually got his master's degree here. And when he got here, he was excited. He was making friends, friendly guy. And he reached the point on campus where he recognized people. They recognized him. They're doing the thing. They're walking. He makes eye contact, smile. Okay, we're off to a good start. And the guy goes, hey, how are you? And he gets excited. And so he stops. He almost gets in his way, right? And he starts talking to him. And he's animated. And he's talking. And he's telling him all about his day. For 10, 15 minutes, right? And then he starts to slowly pick up on the social cues of yeah, this guy does not really care what my day is like. So then goes on his day, happens again. And he starts to notice this pattern, right? And then it dawns on him that no one really cares about the answer that's given. And slowly but surely, we broke him of that habit. Think about that for a second. We broke him of the habit of stopping and waiting to listen to the question, or to answer the question, how are you feeling today? I think that's incredibly sad, to be honest with you. Right? See, where he came from, you asked the question and you stopped. You cared. You wanted to know. And you wanted to share. So all of these sorts of things combined have led me to start to think about ways that we can start having conversations about emotions, how we can start starting a dialogue about the things we don't talk about, and taking the time to do it. So that led me to a project that I call Step Into My World. Step Into My World is a three-dimensional art project that uses virtual reality technology to allow people to express their emotions in a 3D space, right? They come in, and it's super simple. We just did it, really. I say, how are you today? And they say, blank. And I go, great, show me. Let me see what that feels like. Let me understand what that feels like. So then they get to stand in this limitless space and create, right? And express their emotions in this artistic way. It's so amazing to see somebody do it. The look on their face is just sheer joy or terror, but usually it's joy, right, when they get to experience that. But that's actually not the really cool part. what I get most excited about is what we do after the art's been made. See, after the art's been made, I bring in other people, right? And we put them in it. And we offer them the opportunity to actually step into the world of the person that created it. They get the same field of view. They're using the exact same technology, right? In essence, it's a window into their world, into their brain. So I didn't do slides because I'm going to actually show you what this looks like. As a word of caution, I seriously cannot see, so I'm going to expect some empathy, and if I'm about to fall off the stage, someone yell. Just a second. All right. So if we look over here, this is exactly what I see. See, the question I asked was, how are you feeling? The response I got was good. So take a moment to understand what good is. See, what I see is that good is 1, 2, 3, 4 faces, all that look different. It's a moon. I'm pointing because that's my reality. It's a sun, right? It's also a tornado back here, right? All of a sudden, good has so much more depth and understanding. Oh, it's also, I don't know, right? Suddenly, the dialogue of how are you feeling becomes so much richer. Here, I'm going to take this off. And that dialogue piece is actually what it's all about. Because after the art's done and after someone has viewed it, we get to have a conversation. See, in that conversation, they talk about what it felt like to be in someone else's shoes, right? To have a better understanding of what that emotion was. It's truly the opportunity to stand in someone else's shoes. I don't know if you heard that as a kid. I was the smallest of 3, so I heard that a lot. How would your brother feel? So it's an incredible experience. But what ends up happening is that people want to talk. See, suddenly the topic that people wouldn't talk about, they're engaged. They want to talk about it. It's unique, right? So they have a conversation with me, but then they want to go talk to their friends about it. All right? First, it starts about the experience. It was so cool. I got to look around. I can move in this 3D space. And then slowly but surely, the conversation drifts towards like, I totally understand why they drew a moon. Or like, I don't understand that. I would have drawn that. And now all of a sudden, we're having a conversation about a topic that we treat as if it's taboo. But we all just agreed that it's something that we're all experiencing. So I guess what I'm encouraging you to do, what I challenge you to do, is after you leave here, figure out a way to navigate the world so that you stop, so that you wait, you listen, you care about the question, you care about the response, and that the response now has greater depth and meaning than it ever had before. See, because stepping into someone else's shoes isn't just a phrase. It's a possibility now. It's also a way of life. It's the way we do things. I also encourage you to go out and to have a conversation. Start a conversation that you're not comfortable with. I promise you, whatever happens after you start the conversation will be worth it. Thank you.